Hey friends, happy Friday afternoon, TGIF. How are you today? I am going to hope that some of you are going to refresh this page and see me hop on live because y'all, these videos can make you feel awfully lonesome if you're on here by yourself. So I hope that some of you can come on here live, but if you are watching the replay, welcome as well. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad all of you are here. And hey from Kentucky. Hey Maddie. Hey Lindsay. Hi ladies. We've already got these brand new people jumping right on. Thank you for being here. And good, I'm in the right place. Wisconsin. Awesome. Well, I am glad everyone is here today. Tell me, if you hop on, I want you to tell me where you're watching from. Western North Carolina. That means we're probably not too far from you, Stephanie. We live just east of Knoxville. Good, good, good. I'm excited too. Canada, yay! That's awesome. So happy y'all are here. I'm a homeschool mom of 3 teenagers. My husband and I both work from home, so it is getting more and more difficult to find places to do videos in my house. So right now, I am propped up in my basement, and I'm sitting in front of a window hoping for better light, but it's looking kind of weird to me, so hopefully we won't have any dogs barking, teenagers fighting, you know, any of that fun stuff. So, I am so glad y'all are here. Well, good. Thank you, Melissa. It's really seriously getting harder and harder to find a place. I just need a closet with good lighting, I think, or something. That's why you'll often see me on Insta stories sitting on my front porch, because it's kind of quiet out there. Hi there from Wisconsin. Wow, we've got people from all over the place. That is so exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and dive in, and anybody that's watching later, we're glad you're here too. I know everybody can't hop on live. So I am Candace Crabtree. For those of you who are new to my story, I hope to share several things with you today. And y'all, whenever I'm doing videos, I like to have, sometimes in the morning, coffee. This is hot tea. I don't know why, because I'm not even going to be able to drink it, but it makes me feel like we're kind of sitting around the table chatting. I would much rather this be a conversation than just me talking. So please jump in. I'll try not to get like totally squirrely with your comments, but I do like to know that y'all are participating in the conversation, and for some reason just having a drink just makes me feel like we're sitting around the table chatting like friends. So now I'm going to put that down because I can't really hold that and talk. I am going to try and share with you some highlights from my story and share with you, sleeping on your lap. Yeah, teenagers don't do that anymore. Highlights of my story and just the graciousness of God to meet me in a very dark season in my life. Albania, wow, awesome. I want to share with you my journey out of the darkness, my wellness journey, and then at the end, I hope this doesn't get too long, but y'all, when I'm talking about my story, I get excited because I feel like I have to talk about the faithfulness of God, and I sometimes just don't want to leave out details, and I know that's impossible because there are so many different, things that God has done over the years. But I also want to finish up this video. Sitting right in front of me, I have some of my favorite oils. So I want to talk to you. If I get to the end and I sound like I'm finishing and I have not shared my favorite oils for emotional wellness, somebody comment and say, hey, don't forget to tell us about those oils. Last time we were doing this class, I totally forgot and had to come back on and do another video, which is fine too. But anyway, that's all the kind of the things that I want to share with you. And so I'm going to dig right in. First of all, I have started getting in the habit of sharing my story by starting with a verse, a little phrase from Isaiah, chapter 61, where Isaiah the prophet, he's talking about Jesus. And he's talking about what Jesus is going to come to do for us. Hey, Katie Baker. I'm in the right place, y'all, right? Am I in the right place? Okay. But the beautiful thing is, when you think about Jesus doing all of these things for us, just listen to what Jesus came to do. Yes, okay, thank you. I saw different names hopping on, and it made me nervous. Okay. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings to the poor. So he came to bring us good news, to heal the brokenhearted, to give freedom to the captives, to open the prison doors for those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to console those who mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord. Why? That he may be glorified. And so that is my heart to share with you today. I know that this verse is true because I have seen the Lord bring beauty from ashes in my own life. And I just about can't say that phrase without getting choked up. But it is my heart that he would be glorified as I share my story with you. I've prayed for that. I've prayed that you could be encouraged. And I've prayed that you could see that there is hope. There is always hope. Because of Jesus, there is always hope. So, let's see, I had 3 babies in 3 years, and now they are 16, 15, and 13. Oh my word, it sounds crazy to even say that. So about 13 years ago, when I had 3 babies, my body went a little crazy. And as I'm sure all of you can understand, the hormone fluctuations, you're not sleeping, you've got babies, your hormones are crazy, you're feeling that stress, and honestly, at first, I just thought, well, this is motherhood. Motherhood with 3 babies is just really hard. And I just thought, well, this is what it's like. This is what it's going to be like to have 3 kids. It's just, hard. But after about a year, when my youngest was about a year, my husband was still coming home often and finding me crying in the bed, in the bathroom, laying down, trying to sleep, not really interacting much with my family or with my kids. And we just kind of both knew that something wasn't quite right. I was not seeming to get better. And so we both decided to go. I think first I went to see my family doctor, who then recommended, yes, Amanda, my girls are 14 months apart, so that was rough. I went to see my family doctor, who recommended a psychiatrist and also counseling. And so I met with all 3 of those medical professionals for quite a few more years. And they all agreed that I needed to go on antidepressants. I also had an anti-anxiety medication to use if needed. And so I began the journey of medication. And that journey was interesting. It was good. It's a part of my story. I'm thankful for it. And I probably also want to throw in here that I am not a medical professional. I am not going to tell you to wean off any of your medications. I want you to talk to your doctor when you have questions about your medication. So just get that out there. I'm sharing my story, and I'm sharing, what God has done in my life. Don't hear that as medical advice. so when I first started the meds, you know how that process goes, if any of you have been there. It took several different attempts of different medications. And you know, when you start one and it doesn't work, you've got to give it a few months, then to wean off of it, it takes a few more, weeks, and then to find another one. So this was months of just up and down and nothing's helping. And we did eventually find one that seemed to help at first. And so this medication that I was on for several years pulled me up out of that kind of that black pit that I was in, that probably many of you have experienced. I didn't seem to be able at that point to pull myself out of it. It had gone on too long. It probably started as postpartum depression, looking back, and it just went undealt with. And so it got worse and worse. And so there's a part of me that thinks, if we had done something sooner, but there's no going back, y'all. You are where you are today, so you can only move forward. So try not to look back with guilt, because I can do that sometimes too. So the medication pulled me out of that black hole, so to speak, and helped me to get up and do life. Does that make sense? I was able to get up and care for my children and live a somewhat normal life, as opposed to the previous 1 or 2 years where not every day was terrible, but there were just many days where I cried a lot. I stayed in bed. I was unmotivated. I wasn't doing what I needed to do with my children. I had no energy. And so the medication helped me to once again just kind of live normal life, do things with my kids, and that kind of thing. So the medication kicked in and helped in a lot of ways. However, over the course of the next 7 to 8 years while I was on the medication, I ended up gaining about 50 pounds. I was not eating well. I was pretty much addicted to fast food and would go through the drive-thru very often. I was a stress eater, and that was fast, and I've never been good at cooking or in the kitchen. I'm still not great. And again, I had 3 babies, so I was stressed, and I was stress eating, and I was eating terribly. So I gained a lot of weight, and I was up out of my bed living life, but I was not experiencing joy. I was not experiencing the highs and the excitement of life. I wasn't experiencing the super lows, but I wasn't experiencing the highs either. And so y'all, God created us with emotions, and He created us to feel things and to grieve and to be sad and to be excited and to be happy and to show, emotion. And so for a long time, I have kind of felt like my emotions were the enemy. And a lot of that is my own baggage. I never dealt with them in a very healthy way. So, I realized after being on this medication for several years that I kind of flatlined. I didn't have the lows, praise God, but I also didn't have the highs, and I didn't have joy, and I didn't have that excitement. And so after being on the medication for 7 to 8 years, I can't remember exactly, I decided that I was going to try and wean off my meds. And this was another really just a tough season. If you've ever been on, certain ones are harder to come off of than others. And I found out later, one of the ones that I was on is one of the hardest to come off of. And so for months, I experienced this withdrawal of headaches and this weird zapping in my brain and vertigo and dizzy and upset stomach. But the Lord was gracious, and He allowed me to wean completely off of the medication after months of just taking less and less and less. And finally, I got off of the antidepressant and the anti-anxiety med. And this was about 3 years ago, I guess, maybe almost 4 years now. And I was scared, y'all. I was fearful to come off of the meds, and I had this thought in the back of my head, you know, what if I always need to stay on them? And what if I crash and burn and I have to go back on them? Which would not be the end of the world, y'all. But I'm just telling you, in my head, there was so much fear in that season. And so not feeling well with the withdrawal symptoms and the fear made for a very anxious few months. But eventually, like I said, I got off of them, and the Lord was so gracious. And because there were times I just was like, this is not worth it. Let's just go back on the med. And so I really consider it His grace and mercy that I was able to get completely off of it. Then, because I had that fear in the back of my head, I thought maybe I should look for some natural help for emotions and for depression and for anxiety. And I kind of started looking, and I tried a few things, but I didn't really find anything earth-shattering, and I wasn't in a super low place at that time, so it wasn't a huge need for me to find something, but I was kind of trying things off and on. And so about, let's see, in November of 2015, which is almost 3 years ago, my son got this cough that he gets every year, and I had a friend, her name is Kelly. She gave me a little sample bottle of RC, which is an oil that used to come in the starter kit with Young Living. It stands for respiratory care. And I was like, whatever, I've tried some different oils before. She had tried for a really long time to get me to use essential oils. And I had a diffuser and some cheap stuff in my house. And I just was very skeptical and very opposed, and I had no desire to try her RC. But I did want to do something about his cough because it was keeping me awake at night, y'all. So I tried it. And after a few days, lo and behold, his cough was better. This was the kind of cough that kind of goes on like all winter. You know what I'm talking about? So after his cough got better, I was like, I don't know. I still don't really know. But at that point, I decided to try the starter kit. And I was still skeptical. I still was like, this is a lot of money. I do not want to pay this for these oils. I very much did not believe in them. And so I got the starter kit, and I got the diffuser from Young Living, and I started diffusing pretty much every day and using the different ones. And so a few months later, I started kind of noticing that my mood was improved. And I really did not even think anything about it. I loved the RC. I loved that helped him for his cough. But I didn't really make the connection about essential oils helping with my emotions for a really long time, probably. And so I was using the oils. I was using them regularly. And then one of my most favorite parts of my story started in January of 2017. So when I bought my starter kit, I just thought I was buying oils. Seems logical. I had no idea the support group that I was entering into. I had no idea how amazing Edie is. I had no idea that I would be in this group of women who were so supportive and helping you, and that Edie was going to start talking to us about all kinds of wellness, not just oils. So in January of 2017, she challenged us in the sisterhood, her group for our team, to do the Whole30. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I have tried to lose weight in the past. I've tried to eat right. Remember I said fast food addict. I've tried a lot of things. So when she said this, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing this. But I don't know what happened. The grace of God, again. God is gracious. I decided to give it a try. In the back of my head thinking, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work for me. I'm too picky. I like my fast food. But I decided to give it a try. She also recommended that we read kind of together. I was listening on audio, a book called It Starts With Food. Well, that book made a big impact on me. I listened to a little bit every day, like I would listen while I was doing the dishes or doing the laundry or whatever. And I just listened to a little bit every day, and that book kept me motivated because it talks about what food does in your body and like the science, and that book kind of scared me because I was like, oh my word, this stuff I've been eating. So starting the Whole30 with Edie, listening to that book, having this support system, and then you know what? The weirdest thing happened. A few weeks into this, and I was not even doing it perfectly, y'all, but I was doing it pretty close to perfectly. A few weeks into this, I started having more energy. And that is what propelled me to keep going. Because do you know how long it had been since I had energy? A long time. And that energy turned into motivation. And that motivation turned into, I think I can do this. So when you make one small good choice, it kind of propels your next good choice. And that is what I have been learning on this wellness journey. So I started exercising. I don't think I have ever exercised regularly for this long in my entire life. I've now been exercising several times a week since January of 2017. So January of 2017 is very, very monumental in my life because that was a start. That was another step. You know, I had gotten off the meds, and now it was time to take care of my physical health. So I was eating better, and a lot of people will ask me, well, what'd you eat and what exercise did you do, and or better yet, what oil did you use to lose weight? Y'all, I wish I could just say, oh, I just rubbed a drop of lavender on my stomach and but making life changes is hard work, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard work. But I was seeing improvement. I was actually feeling good for the first time in years. And for me, that is what helped me keep going. So I basically just ate clean. Like I ate a lot of meat and veggies. I would fix a meat and a veggie for dinner. I do a lot of smoothies right now, and I put tons of spinach in it because I know that gives me energy. And so, staying away from the fast food. I quit drinking my sweet tea, my large sweet tea from McDonald's every day. I haven't had soda. You know, I didn't drink soda. I used to have a lot of soda. You know, the stuff that you know you're not supposed to be eating. Well, there's a reason for that. And lo and behold, my body was proof because I was feeling good and I had energy. And so I know sometimes we wonder, like, what made me ready, or what helped me to keep going, or what helped me to actually do this? And for me, it was the fact that I felt good for the first time in years. So over the course of the last, whatever that is, what is that? 18 months? I don't know. Math is not my thing, y'all. I've lost 53 pounds. And that is, one, the grace of God in my life. Two, it's a lot of hard work and making changes that I knew I needed to make. But once you start learning the science of all of it and how these foods and these toxins in the world today are slowly but surely killing us, it becomes more motivating. You know, I finally woke up in the morning with energy, and I had been on sleep meds since probably for 20 years. I always had trouble sleeping. Even back in high school, I can remember I had trouble sleeping. And my problem with sleep is that I just can't turn my brain off. I'm an introvert. I overthink. And so I had been on sleep meds for many, many, many years and going off of those sleep meds. and finding something natural like our supplement, MuPro. MuPro has saved my life because I wake up with energy, y'all, and I wake up excited to live my life. And I wake up excited to come on here and talk to you guys because I feel good. I have energy, and the Lord has been so good to me to help me make these changes. And so when I see something that's helping, it's like I have to share, I have to tell people. So I started eating differently. I started exercising. I started noticing that my mood was improved as a combination of all those things together. So the cool thing that, I told you after using the oils and diffusing for several months every day, I told you that I noticed my mood was improving. Well, I still never made that connection until I started learning from Dr. Edie and from others inside our group that when you smell something, that smell, your sense of smell, goes straight to that part of your brain where your emotions are, your hormones, and your memory. So, ding, 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 ding. Essential oils are amazing for our emotions. Now, I'm just going to say here right now, I can't honestly, truthfully tell you, oh, here's one oil you could use and you'll be able to go off all your antidepressants. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is essential oils are such an amazing tool in your toolbox for helping to support healthy emotions. Now, here's where I have a confession. I have had so many unhealthy emotions, and I am 41 years old, and I feel like really for the first time in the last year, I've been dealing with just junk, from my childhood, from my past, whatever. There are things I have never handled well or I have never dealt with at all. And so using an essential oil is not going to take away the fact that I still have work to do, that I still am totally dependent upon Christ and His work in my life. I have been in counseling, and there's no shame in that for me. I have changed how I eat. I am exercising, which is so, so good for your mental health. Google strength training and mental health. Y'all, just adding in some hand weights is super, super, super for your mental health. You're getting out and walking or doing that kind of thing is excellent, but if you can add in just even a tiny amount of strength training, I think if you Google it, if you're really interested in it, the studies done and the results that you will see are amazing, and I have found that to be true in my own life. So eating right, exercising, oils, the goodness of the Lord, His faithfulness to me. During my darkest days, God met me in the pages of His Word. And if you don't follow my blog, you can check it out later, but He kind of taught me to pray His Word, and that's something beautiful that was birthed out of one of the worst seasons of my life. And so when you have nothing to pray and when you're in those dark seasons, pick up His Word and read a psalm and pray it and speak it to God. And so that is something beautiful. He transformed my prayer life during one of the hardest seasons of my life. He drew me closer to Himself, and He taught me things about Himself that I would never have known had I not been through the valley. And so I can look back with gratitude, and I can look back with thanksgiving, and I can look back without regret because I see His hand through it all. And so another thing that I want to encourage you with, so many times women, especially on this wellness journey, we've had babies, or maybe we haven't had babies, but we're mamas, we're wives, some of us work, some of us stay home. We have very full plates, and we feel very stuck, and we feel very inadequate to make changes. And that for a long time was a big stumbling block for me. I truly felt hopeless in my situation. And so changing my mindset and asking God to help me believe what his word says about me has been a huge part of my journey too, and I just cannot leave that part out. The verse in Romans that says we can be transformed by the renewing of our minds, that tells us so many things just in that little phrase. First, that means transformation is possible. We are not stuck where we are. Secondly, how are we transformed? We are transformed by the renewing of our minds. That renewing is a journey. That renewing is ongoing. That renewing is taking the lies of the enemy and replacing them with the truth of God's word. So many of us are bogged down because we believe the lies of the enemy, that we're stuck, that we're a failure, that we're this, that we're that. I've tried this before. I'm not good at this. I have failed in the past. I am unloved. I am not, whatever the lie is, we get stuck there. But when we decide to start taking God at his word, what happens? Beautiful transformation. We can be transformed by the renewing of our minds, but that renewing takes work, y'all. And making huge changes in your life takes work. It takes perseverance. It takes patience. It takes trusting the Lord and taking him at his word and standing on the promises of God. Okay? When you don't feel strong, when you don't feel like you can do it, it is God at work in us. And so this journey has been very, very, very unexpected for me. I keep telling people that the Lord works in mysterious ways, that I could never have seen this coming. I was skeptical about the oils. I had no clue that when I was buying oils, I was joining this family of people who have become dear, dear friends to me. Edie is precious. Y'all, she's the real deal. She will talk to me on the phone and talk me off the ledge, and she is working so hard to help me change my thoughts because she knows that's where I get stuck, and I love her for it. But I had no idea. I had no idea when I bought my oils that this is what I was getting. What a gift, you guys. What a gift from the Lord. And that, buying my starter kit, was the bridge to that better health that I so desperately needed. So the Lord knew I needed that. And so he helped me, prompted me, whatever, to buy that starter kit, even though I was super, super skeptical. He knew what I needed. He knows what we need. And he's so faithful to get us there, even in mysterious ways, like buying essential oils. Okay, so as I said, essential oils, I don't even know what time it is. My thing is covering I hope I haven't been going on too long, but I'm gonna get to the oils that I use, all right? I didn't forget, yay! Essential oils, so your sense of smell. Y'all are gonna learn that Melissa is super sciencey and so smart, and I am super emotional and not sciencey. So I don't always have the statistics and the numbers and the spreadsheets very good. But I do know that I'm learning. Now I see Melissa's laughing. Did I tell you guys that Melissa and I are sister-in-laws? We married brothers. We need each other, yes. Melissa and I have been on quite the journey together. We just talked about this the other night. We're not sisters, we married brothers. Another great, amazing providence of the Lord. So I have learned enough of the science, yes, to know your sense of smell is the only sense that goes straight to this part of your brain from what I've been reading. And so like your sense of touch doesn't go there, your sense of taste doesn't go there, your vision, but your sense of smell. And here's what I want you to think about for a minute. I want you to think about walking into a house and smelling something and that triggering a memory. Okay, have you ever walked in and smelled banana bread baking and you're like, oh my goodness, that reminds me of my grandmother? Or maybe you smell a certain flower and that reminds you of your aunt's rose bushes, in her front yard or something. But can any of you guys think of memories that are triggered by smell for you? That is how essential oils work. It's triggering that part of your brain. So if you are into the science stuff, you can Google like your amygdala, your limbic system, your sense of smell and emotions, essential oils and emotions. All those things, they work together, and that's how God made it to be, right? That's how God created our sense of smell to be. But we just, like, I had never thought of that with essential oils, but wow, it's so true and it's so powerful. So that is why I keep my diffuser running all day long. And I have one by my bed, and I put things in it at night depending on how my day's been, or, you know, how stressed out I'm feeling. I have them in my kids' rooms now. I will put thieves in if we've been sick or if we've been around someone that's sick. I will put stress away in it if we've had a rough day. So diffusing oils is amazing. And I think Melissa already told you the 3 ways you can use oils. All 3 of those ways are going to help you emotionally, with your immune system, you know, all the ways. So let me show you some of my very, very favorites. And it's so funny, I noticed Heidi mentioned a lot of my favorites too. So I think that kind of shows you some of the things she said helped her are the same things that helped me. Now, I will say that all our bodies are different. So sometimes, you know, one thing might help me and it might not help you. And there's a lot of trial and error that goes along with natural health, but that's okay. You know why? Because now I have healthy options. I have healthy things I can turn to, you know, whereas before I didn't have. Now I can just grab an oil and take a deep breath. If you were here at my house for a class, I would open my bottle of orange, because orange is one of my very personal favorite mood boosting oils, and I would put a drop in the palm of your hand, and I would tell you to rub your hands together and take a deep breath. Oh, y'all, I wish you could scratch and sniff my screen. Orange is amazing. Tangerine is pretty good too. Those citrus oils are all amazing mood boosters. So if you come over to my house, you will almost always find citrus oils in my diffuser all day, every day. I use orange and something else. Like right now, I'm using an oil that we call Christmas Spirit in my diffuser with orange, because it's like this cinnamony fall smell. And another great thing about citrus oils is they are some of the most affordable oils. And so I keep stock of the big size of orange. Like, I always have at least 2 bottles at my house because I use it every day. So just even opening the bottle, y'all, and taking a deep breath is going to get those oils into your system really quickly. And then, you know, if you want to put it on the palm of your hands, I also like to mix up my own roller bottles. I have these everywhere. And then you can just roll it on your wrist. You can roll it on behind your ears, your neck, wherever you think that the scent will keep, you know, coming to you. So one of my favorite blends for anxiety and anxious thoughts and all of that is vetiver and orange. So vetiver and orange are what I have in this roller bottle, and I keep it in my kitchen all the time, and I use it every day, every morning. I take my supplements, whatever my vitamins I'm gonna take, I roll on my oils, and that has become, that one I've just been using for a month or 2. That's kind of a new one to me. I have just started researching vetiver. Vetiver is amazing, and I had it in my house already because it's great in a focus blend for your kiddos before school, and so that's actually what's in this bottle. I have a roller top on this one, and inside this bottle is vetiver, cedarwood, and lavender. This is a super great focus blend that you can use if you're trying to get your kids to slow down and focus and do their schoolwork. So, not that we ever need any of that help at our house. So, vetiver is great. Orange is a great mood booster. Anything citrus you want to put in your diffuser. Then another one, probably my favorite oil in the starter kit, is frankincense. And y'all, frankincense has pretty much saved my life. So y'all know this. I say this in all my classes, so I'm sorry if you roll your eyes at this, but y'all know they brought frankincense to the baby Jesus, right? Well, my theory is they brought it for Mary. Okay, y'all, seriously, postpartum, those wise men were so wise. I really think they might have brought it for her. So, frankincense. Frankincense is like your go-to when you're feeling stressed, anxious, panicky, anything like that. So let me show you the different ways. I use this a lot of different ways. If I've had a really, really long, hard, bad day, and I'm worried about not sleeping well, I put frankincense and peace and calming in my diffuser. Stephanie, I said vetiver, cedarwood, and lavender. That's like our, focus blend. That's pretty common. If you search around, you'll see that a lot of people put those 3 oils together. Frankincense, there are different ways I use frankincense, and so I often have just an empty bottle in my purse, and if I am out and about, I will just open it, take a deep breath, and smell it. And I have started trying to do this where I will take a deep breath, and at the same time, I will start naming things I'm thankful for. And for me, that's triggering my brain to stop thinking about whatever is stressing me out or whatever the negative situation is. And so I'm breathing in the oil and I'm changing the direction of my thoughts. And I'm immediately trying to force myself to start thinking of things that I'm thankful for. Or reciting a scripture. I have done a lot of scripture memory on this journey. And so there's something about just, and y'all, it doesn't come easy. Sometimes I still go down that negative train, but I'm trying to use my oils as triggers to remind myself to start thinking about what I'm thankful for, or I will often have this laying around wherever in my house and I will flip it and just start reading a verse out loud. And that is enough to get my get my brain going a different direction. So smell the frankincense. The other thing I do with frankincense is I take the bottle, I turn it upside down on my thumb, and this can be used in the moment as often as you need to do it. Press it to the roof of your mouth. Press your thumb to the roof of your mouth. And so this is, you're ingesting the oil. So smell it and ingest it. And you can also put it on topically. The other thing I have been doing is putting it in a capsule along with 2 or 3 other oils in the morning and taking it like one of my vitamins. So I will put 1 or 2 drops of frankincense in a capsule. I also keep a bottle in my purse all the time, and that way I can just smell it, or I can press it to the roof of my mouth. Some people just take the bottle and drop it under their tongue. That's what Miss Edie does. But Miss Candace does not like 25 drops to land under her tongue, because then my mouth is on fire. And people always ask me, like, do you like the taste of it? And I'm like, well, I don't love it, but you know what? When you find something that helps and you've spent that many years not feeling well, you will just put the stuff in your mouth. So frankincense is an amazing oil. And y'all, I wish I could tell you some of the things they are using frankincense for these days in studies with success, but I will say Google is your friend. And for those of you that are into like medical type studies and things like that, go to PubMed, which is just like a collection of all kinds of medical studies that they're doing, and type in frankincense in the search bar and look at all the things they're doing with God's amazing oils. So frankincense is a powerhouse oil. You can do so many things with it. Yes. Thank you, Melissa. I just thought of that and it already left my brain. Y'all, do not put oils from Walmart in your mouth. I hesitate to even tell you to put them on your skin. Those are mostly adulterated. They're filled with fillers and things that are not pure, That's one of the things that I love about Young Living is we own our farms or we partner with our farms. Gary Young used to go on trips all around the world and work with our farmers. I have been to the lavender farm in Utah, and y'all, to see our company at work and to see all that goes into the process and of keeping our oils pure. If you don't know where your oils come from, please, just don't even buy them. But if you have them at your house, please don't put them in your mouth. So I'm only talking about Young Living, and that's my experience with ingesting oils, is just with Young Living. So frankincense is my favorite oil from the starter kit. Super, super great oil for all things anxious, panic, overwhelmed, all of that. Okay, now I think I just have one more I'm going to show you. And this one Heidi mentioned also. She mentioned Valor. Valor is one of my favorites. Yes, Katie. It comes in a roll-on like this that's already got a roller on it, which I love. And as you can see, mine's almost gone. So if you get the one that's already in a roller, you can just roll it on. I love the smell of this one. Valor is just one of my favorite smells. I keep this in the car, and usually as soon as I'm driving away down out of my driveway, I put Valor on, and it just helps me take a deep breath and just have that calm attitude. I bought the bottle, but see, I had a roller top on this one too. You can buy packs of these roller tops from Young Living. I think you can get 10 of them for like roughly $10. So I put roller tops, as you can see, I put roller tops on a lot of my oils because that is just such an easy way to get them on you, to get them on your kids. So Valor is another great emotional oil. Now, here's maybe the last thing I want to say about emotions and oils. Because your sense of smell goes straight to that part of your brain, as I mentioned, you can't go wrong with your oils. Sometimes I think people get freaked out and they're like, oh my gosh, which oil do I use for this, that, or the other? And when you're talking about emotions, high quality, pure oils are going to help, period. Just open your bottle and take a deep breath, smell it, get your diffuser going, carry a bottle around like a weirdo, smell it as often as you need to, and don't, stress about which oil to use. So we have a lot of options for things like stress. Like some people like Stress Away from the starter kit. I prefer Peace and Calming. I also just love orange and Valor and frankincense. And we have a blend called Believe, and we have so many blends, it's crazy. But my point is, if you are be a confident weirdo, that's right. Carry around your bottles and smell them when you need them. My point is, don't stress about which oil to use. If you are having a rough day, if you are feeling anxious, if you want to brighten the moods of your house in the morning, get your diffuser going. Put your oils in the diffuser, smell your bottles, and just use the oils, okay? So even lavender is great. It's calming. Just open it, smell it. Don't worry about which oil you're using. Open up your frankincense, open up your lemon, it's citrus. Open up any of your starter kit oils. And as your collection grows, you will have favorites. I have things that I love, and everybody has different favorites, y'all. So once you get added to the sisterhood, after you get your starter kit, is so funny. You will see all these people like, I do not like that oil. And then the next person will be like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite. How can you not love that oil? Well, all of us are different. So it's just like, my favorite color is different than your favorite color. So that's the things we smell too. So anyway, you will have your favorites. So don't stress out about what oil to use. Just use your oils. When I have people tell me that these oils just are not working, they're not helping me, the first thing I ask them is, how often are you using them? So most of us know if we eat a salad on Monday, that's not going to help us to lose weight, if that's all we're doing. So if you use 1 drop of lavender and then the next week you tell me oils don't work for you, that's why. Oils are like your fruits and veggies. You want to use a variety and you want to get a good diet of them in your system. Okay, so don't just use them once or twice or for a week and think that they're just not helping you. So you need consistency, and you need to use a variety, and you need to have your diffuser going, and you need to do all the things. Just like you need as many fruits and veggies in your diet as possible, right? Okay, y'all. Well, thank you for joining me today. Is there anything that I've missed? I feel like, you know, frankincense comes in your starter kit, and beyond that, I would say get a collection of citrus oils that you love for your diffuser. And then if you really are struggling with anxiety, I would try frankincense and vetiver as maybe your first two tries. And yeah, so those are the oils that I use and some of the oils that have helped me. And I just hope that something I have said has encouraged you today. Sometimes I feel scattered because I feel like there are so many parts to my story, but the biggest thing that I want to leave you with today is that if you find yourself in a season of ashes, know that God is going to bring beauty from it, and know that He is transforming you from the inside out, that He is making you new, that we are new creations in Christ, new creatures in Christ, and we can be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yes, it takes work, and yes, I have to sometimes force myself to read it, to memorize it, to speak truth, and to acknowledge what the lie is that I'm believing so I can replace it with truth. And yes, I struggle to eat well sometimes, and no, I don't always want to go exercise, but y'all, it's worth it, and you're not stuck where you're at. God is in the business of changing us and transforming us and making us more and more into His image, and He's going to do that in you. And I'm just excited to see all of you, and I can't wait to see you guys in our groups. And that's just an amazing support group of women that have just meant the world to me. So we would love to have you all. All right, y'all have a great afternoon. Bye.